Hey everybody, so I'm about to start in 10 minutes with my monthly chat with Kat. Today we have two amazing guests. I will be expecting to speak to both Olivia Keller and Claudia Center. They are two powerhouse women who are fighting for the rights of people with disabilities in so many different ways. But tonight we are going to be focusing on accessible parking and why it's important to uphold it for those of us with disabilities. So please stay tuned, and until then, write in the chat where you're coming from, because I would love to get to know all of you. Oh, I see my friend Stu has joined. Hi, Stu. And Philip. Hello, Philip. You were the first guest at the monthly chat with Kat, and you were an incredible first guest. So I'm excited to see if these new guests can live up to the great conversation that we had. Hey, aw, you're so sweet, Philip. And Tamscape, I don't recognize your name. Can you tell us where you're from? Hi, Stu. Yes, I'm having a great day. I hope you are too. Oh, I see our first guest has joined, Olivia. It's so nice to have you on today, and we will be starting in 10 minutes. So just sit tight and maybe tell people in the chat a little bit about yourself, if you can. No, Philip, that's okay. We have, as I mentioned, I have two amazing guests today, Olivia Keller and Claudia Center. So we are going to have a great conversation. So just sit tight and just be active in the chat. If you have questions, feel free to ask them to either myself or my guests, and we'll, answer them the best way we can. Awesome. Thanks, Philip. I know I can always count on you. You're a great friend and a great advocate. And I hope you're doing really well with your acting career and your playwrights and everything that you do. I mean, our last interview was nuts. You do so much. So I just hope you're still out there showing the world everything that people with CP can do. So does anyone have any questions for me before we start? One thing I forgot to mention in our conversation, as far as my CP, I can walk, I just can't walk straight. Awesome. Okay. Well, we all have our things. And I see Olivia wrote in the chat. She said, "Hi, I'm Olivia. I was born with a disability, work in policy, and I'm currently part of the litigation against the state over disabled accessible parking access." Yes, and that is what I was just telling our viewers is going to be our main focus of conversation tonight. I can't wait to get into it. I know just by the brief conversations that we've had that you are such a powerhouse, and I'm truly honored to have this conversation with you. So thank you so much for being a guest on Chat with Kat. Hi, Yuki. Thank you for joining us. If you all don't know Yuki, she is my PR marketing person, and whenever you see like those really fancy ads that are posted on my social media, that's all her. So if you're looking for anybody to help you get started with your advocacy or your business that you're thinking of creating, please contact Yuka Monster. She is truly a monster of PR. She's awesome. So just shout out to Yuki. She's great. Speaking of Yuki, I also wanted to let you all know that in a few days, I'm not sure when, but Cat Girl and Friends will be launching my brand new website, so stay tuned for that. Philip, I see that you wrote in the chat that one thing you would like our viewers to know is we may have disabilities, but we're just like everyone else, and you can do anything. Yes, I could not agree more, and as I've mentioned twice already, my guests are powerhouses that will definitely show that that is true. I mean, I cannot wait for them to join us in just 5 minutes. So hang tight, guys, because they are on their way, and it's going to be an amazing, amazing time. Yep, the countdown is on. We got 4 minutes. It's very exciting, guys. So, Olivia, before we begin, I just want to let you know that I read your bio, and since it's so amazing, my first question is for you to just kind of give us a background. So get ready for that, because I don't even know where to begin with all that you've already accomplished. So I'm just going to let you take the lead on that. Awesome, Philip. I can't wait to read it. Yes, catgirlandfriends.com is active now, but we have a new site that will be out very, very soon. So I'm super excited about that. There are big things happening thanks to Yuki. And I just can't wait to see what happens with Cat Girl and Friends, where inclusion is for everyone, and we help educate the next generation about the importance of kindness and inclusion through literature and public speaking. Thank you. So are you. You're very inspiring. I'm inspired by everyone that's on this call right now, to be honest with you. Thank you, Philip. I will be sure to share it to my social media, and you guys will see it as soon as it's up and running. Like I said, I have a current site, but it just needed some Yuki magic to make it look a lot prettier and more professional, and so once that's up, it's going to be a really big and exciting day. Oh, my friend Samara's here. Hi, Samara. Samara is an amazing girl that I met at a foundation called Connecting Hearts. and I've had the honor of speaking there, I believe 3 times now. I can't even believe it's been that many that I've been invited back. And Samara is a dear friend of mine that is one of the participants there. So thank you so much, Samara, for joining us tonight. Oh, and I see our second guest has just arrived. Claudia, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited to get into this interview. And I believe how this can work is you and Olivia need to ask to join the live, and I will invite you in, and that is how it can work. And then we can get this started for everyone in just 1 minute. Stu, you are not allowed to put yourself down in this chat. This is all positive energy, and you are one of the most inspiring people because you deal with so many challenges every day, and you do it with such a great personality and such grace. So you are not allowed to put yourself down in here. Yes, Philip, there is. Okay. So let me actually see, because there's an add button here, so maybe I can add you. Let me see. I did it. I invited you guys. So Claudia and Olivia, you are officially invited into the chat. Just click accept and we can get started. I just invited them. I hope that works. Or do they have to request to join? Either way, let's, see what happens. This is all how it is with live videos, live chats. There's always a little bit of a technical difficulty, but we just hang right in there with our positive energy and we get started when we can. Oh, it says you're unable to join. Claudia, why is that? Olivia, are you having the same issue? It's right next to the comment. Where you write a comment, there should be a little camera button. It looks like a little camera and there's a plus sign. If you click on that, it should request to join. I see one request. There we go. Olivia, are you there? I accepted you and I don't see you yet. Oh my goodness. This is life, guys. Life is full of unexpected twists and turns, and you gotta just roll with it. Get it? Ha ha. Oh, not me. Okay. So I won't join again. I will stay here. Okay. Oh, and hi, Bill. I see that you joined. Thank you so much. We will be getting started shortly. Yes, Philip, we roll with the punches. It won't let me connect. It keeps trying to connect on my phone. Let me try Tat. What is tact? Hi, Aunt. Thank you for joining us. We are going to be getting started shortly. Oh, yeah, probably that. Yes, thank you, Yuki. Yeah, I think you guys are right. I think she meant that. It's okay. We all have typos. I'm an author and I get typos quite often. So it's a part of life. Like I said, we just got to keep rolling with it. It's all good. Okay, let's try this. What? No, shit. Sorry for cursing, guys. I think I messed it up. Oh, hi. There you
Yes.
are. Oh my goodness. Hello.
Hi. It worked on my phone. I don't know why my laptop does not want to let me in, but it's fine.
Oh,
Made it
well,
work.
at least you're here. I'm so excited to officially meet you. You are so amazing. This I've been excited all day to interview you.
Thank you.
So, I'm not sure if Claudia is going to be able to join us. Are you okay with just taking the reins with the conversation?
Yeah, that's fine. I know she's listening in, and Claudia, if you're trying to get in, I managed to do it through my phone. I didn't get my laptop to work. So
Yeah, let's
she's
hope
all
she
right.
can get
That's
on, but if not, we'll just keep this going.
it's
So, first off, I read your bio and it blew my mind. You are so amazing and so accomplished already that I don't even know where to begin. So, I'm going to let you just tell our audience what it is that you've done so far in your life because it's amazing and people need to hear about it.
Oh wow. Well, that's a lot to start with. I work in policy. Let's start there. So I worked in political campaigns and issue advocacy for a while. I'm getting too old to do that now. Those are, you work 7 days a week, 10 to 12-hour days, and I'm just not cut out for that anymore. So I moved over into the policy space after actually I ran for office myself. So I ran for office in 2018 for state senate. In a race I knew I was probably going to lose. I was up against the person who is actually now the chair of the opposing party nationally.
Mm.
So some stiff competition, but it was more to prove that someone with disability could be a viable candidate, that I did know what I was talking about. And we actually had a very civil campaign. I wasn't about attacking him. Unfortunately, I mean, it's one of those times where having a disability maybe worked to my advantage a little bit of he was not going to attack the woman with a disability on a campaign, unprovoked. But that ended up being good. Like we actually had really good like policy conversations, and he actually ended up sponsoring a couple bills for me in his time in the session. So, after that, I worked at Disability Rights Florida for 5 years after the campaign. And then I've been at a national organization for the past couple of years working on their policy department. So I've kind of run the gamut between, serving on the Citizens with Disabilities Advisory Board in Sarasota, to working at state level and now working more on a national level.
And you mentioned that you're currently at a national organization. Could you let us know the name and what it is that you do there?
I'm the public policy manager, but I've kind of been disconnecting, work from the litigation because I'm doing that in my personal capacity. And one of the challenges that has been with this is working in policy. There is an overlap. So I'm trying not to conflate, my litigation and my personal capacity with the organization or, with my job.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes perfect sense. And What is it? You mentioned a litigation. What is it that you're currently in litigation over, if you don't mind like letting our viewers know?
Sure. So in the 2025 legislative session, so we just finished up the 26th legislative session in Florida. Florida, as a provision in a huge kind of omnibus transportation bill, included a provision that allows someone to park in disabled parking just because they are pregnant. This isn't for complicated pregnancies. So anyone that had a mobility impairment as, a condition of a secondary condition to pregnancy, they have always been able to park in a disabled parking space, and get those placards. So what this does is just anyone who is pregnant. So it is setting up a separate standard for women who are pregnant who don't have to have a mobility impairment to get that placard. And in essence, is kind of giving preferential treatment to someone who is pregnant over someone who is disabled and needs to park there. I have a disabled parking plate, and then I have a placard because I do, ride in the car with other people sometimes. And I have to renew that every 4 years, even though my disability was congenital. I was born without arms and a leg length discrepancy, so I had a lot of surgeries. And so I use a power chair, especially when I'm on my own. I, can't function in society. I tell people it's very hard to use your hands when you're walking on them. So, when I'm by myself, I absolutely need to park in those spaces. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions about disability that, we don't drive, we use public transit, we all have caregivers, we all have chauffeurs that drive us around and they can drop us off. But for a lot of us, we are independent. We all are on our own. And so if we get stuck in that situation, it, just throws a bomb into our day, where I may not be able to get everything done that I was planning on, or my entire schedule has been derailed because I wasn't able to find a parking space to get out of my car. um, you know Everyone knows pregnancy is hard. I'm not disputing that at all. I've been pregnant myself. I get that. However, we can't place convenience above need when we're talking about a finite supply of resources that was intended for a very specific purpose for people with disabilities. When we're changing the rules for another community, this isn't disabled parking anymore. I don't know what you call it, but when you're giving preference to another community, that's not our parking. And so it's really diluting the entire purpose of the ADA, which was to include people with disabilities in society and make us be able, possible to participate. And so that is jeopardizing that, because there already wasn't enough disabled parking to begin with. And so it's really exacerbating that problem. And it's a violation of federal law. These spaces exist per the Americans with Disabilities Act. Therefore, you have to have a qualifying disability in order to qualify for disabled parking. And so, just in that and alone, the supremacy clause is the thing. Federal law trumps state law, and therefore it is a violation of federal law.
Yeah, totally. So let me ask you this. As you've been fighting this since last year, what are some of the obstacles that you faced, like some of the pushback that you've gotten? Or is it just people are like, okay, you're right. Like, let's not do this. Let's not
Um,
have pregnant women park here. What's some of the feedback that you're getting?
a lot of people, like I said, I think just didn't understand it, number one, but it was also buried in a much larger bill. So I don't think people really kind of noticed it was there, and it kind of just snuck through the legislature. And, people, I honestly think, and I've talked to some members about this, and they were under the impression that this was for difficult pregnancies, limited mobility during pregnancy, and really didn't understand what they were passing. So now that people are becoming more educated about it, a lot of people are upset. Even, people who are pregnant themselves have been upset. They understand the purpose of this. So for the most part, people have been in agreement, especially those who understand that, we're not attacking pregnant ladies. I don't want them to have difficult pregnancies. If they qualify to park there, then, I will share those spaces with anyone who is qualified. We fight with each other over them. But, if you're eligible and you meet those same requirements, then yes, you should park there. But to give preferential treatment to another community, I know it's trying to be family friendly or trying to encourage families, but there are other ways to do that. And, taking disabled parking from disabled people doesn't seem nearly as effective as, childcare or